In the quiet moments before the world wakes, there's a profound realization that settles upon those destined to guide others. It is the understanding that every thought, every action, and every word spoken throughout a lifetime has been a form of silent preparation. The journey toward leadership is not a sudden leap, but a gradual accumulation of experiences that shape the soul. Whether one finds themselves standing before a global corporation in Europe or organizing a small community group in the home region, the essence of the calling remains the same. It is an intricate dance of influence, a craft that requires more than just a title or a seat at the head of a table. True leadership is found in the way a person carries themselves when no one is watching, and in the way they choose to elevate those around them when the eyes of the world are finally turned their way. The world is currently witnessing a paradoxical hunger for guidance. From the halls of government in the American continent to the bustling tech hubs of Asia, there is a visible struggle for focus and integrity. Many leaders find themselves lost in the complexities of competition, unable to maintain the very mandates they were chosen to uphold. Companies face challenges so vast and pressure so intense that their management teams often lose sight of the human element, focusing instead on the cold metrics of survival. Even in the most intimate circles, such as the family unit or local organizations, the echoes of weak leadership can be heard in the form of conflict and unresolved tension. It is within this landscape of uncertainty that a different kind of leader begins to emerge, one who understands that the true measure of success is not found in personal accolades, but in the flourishing of the collective. When most people imagine a successful leader, they often picture a figure of grand proportions, perhaps a charismatic entrepreneur or a powerful political figure. They see the visible markers of prestige and the weight of formal authority. However, the most impactful leaders are often those who operate with a quiet intensity, individuals who inspire not through command, but through a deep-seated commitment to a purpose greater than themselves. These are the mentors, the coordinators, and the partners who work tirelessly in the background, ensuring that the foundations are strong and the vision is clear. They are people who have recognized that their arsenal of tools is vast, yet often underutilized, and they have made the conscious choice to sharpen their skills for the benefit of others. The path to becoming an admired leader involves a deep and often uncomfortable process of self-reflection. It requires a person to step back and ask how they wish to be remembered by those they have led. Will they be remembered for the power they wielded, or for the leaders they helped to create? This internal exploration is the first step toward a transformative way of being. It is about identifying the missing pieces of the puzzle and understanding how to fit them together to reach a higher ambition. As the narrative of a leader's life unfolds, it becomes clear that the most significant growth happens when the focus shifts away from the self. There is a world waiting for leaders who are willing to transform, to evolve, and to master the habits that lead to true excellence. But to reach this peak, one must first confront a radical idea that challenges the very nature of modern ambition. This radical idea suggests that the core of leadership is not found in the pursuit of one's own success, but in the success of others. It is a concept that turns the traditional hierarchy on its head and asks the leader to become a servant. It is a philosophy that has existed for decades, quietly influencing the most successful organizations across the globe, yet it remains a difficult path to follow. It requires a person to set aside their own needs, their own desire for recognition, and their own hunger for advancement in favor of the goals and ambitions of their followers. The question then becomes, what happens to a person when they stop striving for their own glory and start living for the success of their team? The answer lies in a journey of profound change, where the leader becomes the wind beneath the wings of those they lead, creating a legacy that transcends the limits of a single lifetime.
The struggle for the soul of a leader often begins with a fundamental conflict between the ego and the mission. In a world that prizes individual achievement and competitive dominance, the notion of serving others can feel counterintuitive, perhaps even weak. Yet the history of leadership in the American continent and beyond suggests that the most enduring influence comes from those who have mastered the art of servant leadership. This approach is not about the denial of one's talents, but about the redirection of those talents toward the empowerment of others. It is the realization that a leader's primary role is to act as a support system, a bridge between a person's current reality and their future potential. When a leader shifts their focus from "what can I get" to "how can I serve," the entire atmosphere of an organization begins to shift with them. At the heart of this transformation is the departure from self-centered goals. The traditional model of leadership often encourages an obsession with one's own career trajectory, promotions, salary increases, and the accumulation of personal power. While these motivations are natural, they can become a barrier to true excellence when they dominate the leader's mindset. A leader who is constantly looking over their shoulder at their own progress cannot fully see the people standing right in front of them. The tension arises when the leader's personal ambition clashes with the needs of the team. This is the central conflict, the internal battle between the me and the we. To resolve this, a leader must learn to place their own success on the periphery and bring the success of their stakeholders into the center of the frame. The benefits of this shift are not merely philosophical, they are deeply practical and measurable. When employees feel that their leader is truly invested in their growth, a remarkable change occurs in their level of engagement. They feel valued, heard, and recognized, which in turn fuels a powerful sense of motivation. They are no longer just working for a paycheck, they are contributing to a vision that includes them. This energy spreads beyond the internal team, influencing interactions with customers and suppliers in the broader market. In regions like Europe or Latin America, businesses that adopt this servant mindset often find that their relationships are more resilient, their clients are more loyal, and their reputation is built on a foundation of trust rather than just transactions. For the leader, the act of putting others first serves as a form of liberation. The constant pressure to be the best, to win every argument, and to dominate every discussion is a heavy burden to carry. It creates a state of perpetual stress and competitiveness that can be exhausting. By stepping into the role of a servant, the leader can finally let go of the need to always be the one at the top. They begin to curb the demands of their ego, allowing them to participate as a genuine member of the team. They find that they no longer need to take all the credit for every victory. Instead, they find a deeper satisfaction in watching their colleagues receive the recognition they deserve. This openness and generosity of spirit allow ideas to flow more freely and autonomy to flourish. However, reaching this state of selfless leadership is not an overnight occurrence. It is a deliberate and ongoing practice. It involves a constant reevaluation of one's motivations and a willingness to be honest about the driving forces behind one's decisions. The transition from a traditional leader to a servant leader requires a bridge, a way to move from the abstract concept of service to the daily reality of action. It begins with the simple yet profound act of creating space. A leader must create space in their mind, in their schedule, and in their heart for the needs of others. They must learn to balance their own legitimate needs for growth with a profound sense of detachment from the results. As this balance is sought, the leader begins to see the world through a different lens, one where every challenge is an opportunity to support someone else's journey.
As the leader moves deeper into the practice of serving others, the narrative of their daily life begins to change. The scenes that once defined their day, the high-powered meetings where they dominated the conversation, the strategic moves aimed at personal advancement, are replaced by moments of quiet observation and intentional listening. They begin to see the people in their organization not just as tools for productivity, but as individuals with their own dreams, fears, and aspirations. This shift in perception is where the emotional depth of leadership truly resides. It is the moment when the leader realizes that their greatest contribution is not the brilliance of their own ideas, but their ability to foster a culture where everyone feels safe enough to contribute their best. In this evolving environment, dialogue takes on a new rhythm. The leader is no longer the sole source of answers. They become the architect of questions. They create an atmosphere where ideas are shared freely, without the fear of being overshadowed by the leader's ego. This creates a sense of psychological safety that is essential for innovation and growth. When a leader in the home region or in an international hub like London or Madrid chooses to step back and let their team lead, they are sending a powerful message. They are saying, I trust you, I value you, and your success is my priority. This simple act of trust can transform a stagnant team into a dynamic force as individuals begin to take ownership of their roles and pride in their collective achievements.
This emotional and intellectual progression is often accompanied by a significant reduction in the leader's internal stress. The competitive drive that once kept them awake at night begins to soften. They find that by focusing on the we, they are less susceptible to the anxieties of the me. The need to emerge victorious in every dispute fades away, replaced by a desire for the best outcome for the whole. This doesn't mean the leader becomes passive. On the contrary, they become more focused and effective. They are able to see the big picture more clearly because their vision is no longer clouded by personal bias or the need for self-validation. They become a calming presence in the midst of chaos, a steady hand that guides the team through the inevitable storms of change. The symbols of leadership also begin to change. Instead of the corner office or the highest salary being the ultimate markers of success, the leader starts to value the stories of growth within their team. They take pride in the junior employee who found their voice, the manager who led a difficult project to completion, and the colleague who overcame a personal hurdle. These become the true milestones of the leader's career. The narrative of success is rewritten, no longer a solo journey up a mountain, but a collective trek where everyone reaches the summit together. This sense of shared destiny creates a bond that is stronger than any corporate contract, a loyalty that is born out of mutual respect and genuine care. Yet even in this state of growth, challenges remain. The world outside often continues to operate on the old models of competition and self-interest. A leader who chooses the path of service may find themselves at odds with the prevailing culture of their industry or society. They may face skepticism from those who mistake their humility for a lack of ambition. This is where the narrative momentum builds toward a critical realization. The leader must decide if they are truly committed to this path, even when it is difficult, and even when it requires them to sacrifice their own immediate interests for the long-term well-being of the group. It is a test of character that will determine the true nature of their legacy and the impact they will leave on the world.
There comes a moment in every leader's journey when the theory of service must be tested in the crucible of reality. Imagine a high-stakes situation in a major financial hub in Europe, or a critical community crisis in Latin America. The pressure is immense, the stakes are high, and the eyes of stakeholders are fixed firmly on the one in charge. In this moment, the temptation to revert to old habits is at its strongest. The ego screams for self-preservation, for the leader to step forward and take command, to ensure their own reputation is protected, regardless of the cost to others. It is in this turning point that the true essence of servant leadership is either forged or forgotten. This is the moment of the selfishness test. It is a silent internal confrontation where the leader must stop and ask, in this situation, whose needs am I truly focusing on? Are these my needs for recognition, safety, and power, or are they the needs of my team and the organization? It is a devastatingly simple question, yet it has the power to redefine the entire trajectory of a leader's life. If the leader has the courage to be honest, they may find that their motivations are more self-serving than they realized. They might see that their desire to win an argument was more about being right than about finding the right solution. They might see that their hesitation to delegate was more about control than about quality. The revelation that follows this test is often profound. It is the collapse of the illusion that the leader is the center of the universe. When the leader chooses to put the team's needs first, even when it means taking a personal risk or stepping out of the spotlight, a dramatic shift occurs. The intensity of the situation doesn't disappear, but its nature changes. It is no longer a battle for personal survival, but a shared challenge to be overcome together. This decision to serve, made in the heat of the moment, creates a ripple effect of trust and respect that can never be achieved through command alone. It is a moment of clarity where the leader finally understands that their power does not come from their position, but from their willingness to give it away for the sake of others. This turning point often involves a difficult conversation or a bold decision. It might be the moment a leader admits they were wrong in front of the entire company, or the moment they give full credit for a major success to a subordinate who worked in the shadows. In these moments, the old structure of the leader's identity begins to dissolve, making way for something much more resilient. The emotional weight of the ego is replaced by the strength of a collective purpose. The fear of failure is mitigated by the knowledge that the team is united. This is the climax of the leader's internal struggle. the point where the me is finally and decisively superseded by the we. As the crisis passes and the dust settles, the leader finds themselves in a new landscape. They have crossed a threshold from which there is no returning. The realization that they can achieve more by serving than by commanding becomes the cornerstone of their new identity. They see the results of their choice in the eyes of their team, the newfound confidence, the increased dedication, and the deep-seated loyalty that has been earned through action. This aftermath is not one of exhaustion, but of renewal. The leader has discovered a sustainable way of being that provides both professional success and personal fulfillment. The path forward is now clear, and the consequences of this transformation begin to manifest in every aspect of their work and life.
In the quiet aftermath of a major revelation, the leader begins to observe the long-term consequences of their transformation. The shift from a self-focused mindset to a team-focused one is not just a temporary change in behavior, it is a fundamental restructuring of their reality. The internal and external landscapes begin to align in a way that feels both natural and powerful. In the office, the atmosphere becomes one of genuine collaboration rather than forced cooperation. The leader notices that people are more willing to speak up, to share innovative ideas, and to take calculated risks because they know they have the support of someone who truly cares about their success. This is the quiet resolution that follows the storm of ego. The practice of the selfishness test becomes a habitual part of their decision-making process. It is no longer an agonizing struggle, but a helpful compass that points the way toward the most effective action. The leader finds that as they create more space for the needs of others, their own needs are often met in more satisfying and unexpected ways. Their reputation grows not as a dominant commander, but as a wise and generous guide. They find that the promotions, the recognition, and the success they once chased so feverishly begin to find them, not because they pursued them, but because they have become the kind of person that others naturally want to follow and reward. One of the most profound transformations occurs in the leader's own sense of well-being. By stepping away from the constant pressure of competition, they experience a significant reduction in stress. They are no longer carrying the entire weight of the world on their shoulders. They are part of a team that shares the load. This sense of belonging and mutual support provides a deep emotional settling. They become less defensive and more open to feedback, seeing it not as an attack on their character, but as an opportunity for collective growth. This internal peace radiates outward, influencing everyone they encounter, from high-level executives to the most junior staff members. The language of the leader also undergoes a subtle but powerful change. The word I is replaced by we. Success is no longer measured by personal achievements, but by the progress of the entire organization. At the end of a week, the leader no longer asks themselves, "What did I accomplish?" Instead, they reflect on how they helped their team thrive. They look for evidence of growth in others, for moments where they were able to provide the necessary support for someone else to shine. This collaborative way of thinking becomes the new metric for excellence. It is a more generous, expansive view of leadership that recognizes that the prosperity of the individual is inextricably linked to the prosperity of the group. As this new way of being takes root, the leader begins to see the emergence of new leaders within their team. By stepping back and giving others the space to lead, they have created an environment where leadership can be practiced at all levels. They are no longer the bottleneck through which all decisions must pass. They are the catalyst that empowers others to act. This is the ultimate resolution of the servant leader's journey, the creation of a sustainable legacy of leadership that will continue long after they have moved on. The quiet aftermath of their transformation is a world that is slightly better, a team that is significantly stronger, and a leader who has finally found the true meaning of their calling. The journey of leadership, when viewed through the lens of service, reveals a profound truth about the human experience. It suggests that our greatest potential is realized not when we are focused on ourselves, but when we are dedicated to the well-being of others. This is the essence of the message that transcends industries, cultures, and borders. Whether one is leading a family in the home region or a global enterprise in the American continent, the fundamental principle remains the same. To lead is to serve. This is the final closing insight, the realization that true greatness is measured by the growth of those we influence, rather than the heights we reach alone. In the end, a leader's legacy is not written in the projects they completed or the profits they generated, but in the lives they touched and the potential they unlocked. It is found in the confidence of a colleague who finally believed in themselves, in the resilience of a team that overcame a seemingly impossible challenge, and in the culture of kindness and respect that was fostered under their guidance. These are the things that endure. When the noise of the world fades and the accolades have been forgotten, what remains is the impact we have had on others. A successful leader is one who leaves a trail of empowered individuals in their wake, people who themselves are ready to lead with the same spirit of service and generosity. This way of being requires a constant vigilance against the pull of the ego. It is a lifelong commitment to the practice of humility, openness, and detachment. It is about understanding that leadership is a privilege, a sacred trust that must be honored every day. By asking the simple questions, how can I help you thrive? And what can we achieve together? The leader opens the door to a more meaningful and effective way of life. This shift in perspective doesn't just make for a better workplace, it makes for a better world. It creates a community where people feel valued and inspired, where collaboration is the norm rather than the exception, and where the success of one is celebrated as the success of all. As the narrative of this chapter of life comes to a close, it leaves us with a sense of clarity and contemplation. We are invited to look at our own lives and our own spheres of influence, no matter how small or large they may be. We are encouraged to consider the balance between our own needs and the needs of those around us. The call to become a servant leader is a call to step into a higher version of ourselves, to find the courage to be selfless in a world that often demands the opposite. It is a challenging path, but it is one that leads to the most profound rewards. Let the final takeaway be this: the power to inspire and the ability to lead are within reach of anyone who is willing to put their ego aside and focus on the success of others. It is a journey that starts with a single thought, a single word, and a single action rooted in service. By embracing this mindset, we not only become the leaders that others want to follow, but we also become the people we were always meant to be. The legacy of a servant leader is a flame that continues to burn brightly, illuminating the path for others to follow, long after the leader has finished their part of the journey. In the service of others, we find our own true purpose, and in their success, we find our ultimate victory.